Okay, welcome back to another speaker's tip. Today, I want to talk about how to get feedback on your speeches. I see all these people working on their speeches. They come to me for coaching, and they're basically just an open book. They will listen to anybody. They will receive feedback from everybody, and they'll take all the feedback as valuable, accurate feedback and try to incorporate it in their speech. And what they wind up doing is completely messing up their speech, and they wind up messing up their mind. They go psychotic. What we have to realize, what I had to realize, what I think you're going to have to realize, is that you are the author of your speech. I am the author of my speech. I am the source of what's being said. And when I'm asking for feedback, if I just open it up to everybody and say, tell me what you think I should do with my speech, how should I improve my speech? You're assigning the authorship of your speech to the audience, to those other people, because they then tell you what you should do, and you go, oh, okay, that's what I'll do. And they're the ones writing your speech, not you. And that is the mark, to me, of a very inexperienced speaker. Someone who doesn't really know what they're trying to say, who doesn't know what they're doing. They don't have the confidence of their own skills to listen to what somebody's saying and see if it makes sense and that they should apply that in their speech. So first of all, one of the worst things you can do in any scenario, and again, a lot of the people on this video that watch this are in the Toastmasters organization, is to just open up your speech, give a speech and say, evaluate me and tell me what I should do. Because most of the people you're going to talk to don't know what to tell you to do and don't know how to write a good speech. So the advice you're going to get back is going to be detrimental to your speech development. You can ask me how I know that. Okay, spent a few years doing that myself, listening to people and trying to incorporate to my speeches what they were saying. But probably more important, I didn't have a long run doing that, okay? Because I've always sort of known where I was going, but I had a lot of people and I was like, okay, maybe I should try that. Now, this stuff isn't working. But more importantly, in the hundreds of people I've coached, I've watched people do this over and over and over again, where they'll hire me as I like to think myself as a competent coach, a competent speaking coach who knows what they're looking at, and they'll go listen to somebody who doesn't know anything about public speaking, and they'll take their advice just like they take mine. Okay. So here's my advice if you want to get feedback on your speech. First of all, when it comes to coaches, pick one coach. Now, you can get advice from a lot of different people, but pick one person to coach you. As a world champion speaker, and there's a pretty good relationship between most of us, and we'll know, we talk to each other, we find out that somebody is going to each and every one of us and having each and every, 7 or 8 or 9 world champions coaching. And what that's going to do is just confuse you as a speaker, because a lot of us are going to say the same thing, but a lot of us are also going to have different nuances, and a lot of it's opinion on how to make it work. Okay, so the point is, pick one coach and use that one coach as your sounding board and that you're getting your key advice from. Now, what I tell the people that I coach in speaking is you go out and give your speech, but don't just open it up and say, oh, tell me what I should do with my speech. Ask the audience what you want to hear back as feedback. And I recommend 3 things. Giving your speech, you should know what your message is. You should know what you're trying to get across. You should know what your takeaway is. And what you want to know is it working? You're not asking the audience to figure out how to make it work. You just want to know what's working or what's not, and have them tell you that didn't work, that worked. And the way I do this, I say, I want 3 things. Tell me what worked and what you liked about the speech. Tell me what you didn't feel didn't work or you didn't like about the speech. And tell me what my message was. What message did you get out of the speech? Those are the three things that I want the audience to tell me. And if I'm telling a story and they don't think that story relates properly, they'll tell me, I didn't understand why the story went that way. I say, okay, great. Thank you. I'm getting the feedback on what I want from the audience. Now, here's the second thing that I tell people, and that I learned the hard way, is I look for the same responses from multiple audiences. So I don't just go give it to one audience and have three people say this, or have one person in an audience tell me something that they didn't like something, go, oh, I got to fix that. No, I go give it to another group of people, get the feedback. And as I start to see consistency in the audience that there's an issue with the subject, then I start working on that subject and refine that and bring it in, make it work for the audience. But I'm figuring out, or the coach I'm working with, or in my case, the speaker I'm working with as a coach, we're going to figure out how to actually say that, because the audience is giving you basically feedback that's saying that point isn't working. So now we have to figure out how to make it work. I don't ask the audience to tell me how to figure out how to make it work, because most of those people don't know what to tell you. So the simplicity of this tip today is, if you want to be a really good speaker, don't ask the world what you should do. Work with a coach. If you want to change the coach at some point, change the coach at some point. Yeah, I don't mind if somebody calls me up and I work with them on a speech review program, and then they say, okay, I'm going to go work with somebody else. Great, go work with them, get some other feedback. That's good. But don't work with 3 or 4 people at the same time, because you're just going to get confused. So work with one person as your coach, and then ask the audience the information you want, versus just opening it up to the audience to tell you whatever they want, because you're not going to get accurate feedback. And you're going to get a lot of crazy ideas that you've got to sift through on what works and what doesn't work. And then the third thing is, look for the same responses from multiple audiences before you start acting on your speech adjustment, to make sure that that impact is, the impact that you're having is consistent across several different audiences. So that's my tip for today. And I hope that helps you, because that is something that I had to figure out myself. And I actually enjoy working with other people as I give them that sort of system. It keeps them as the author of their speech. It keeps them as a source of their speech and true to their message. And it also keeps them sane, and they don't go psychotic. And I feel a lot better about that. Okay, I'll see you guys next week.